Hello, Joy Guild friends. I am so excited to chat with you today about Sanctuary. I am AJ, the Joy Weaver, as you know. So, what I want to dive in today about Sanctuary is two ideas. One is rest, and the other is overwhelm. And so, what happens is sometimes we get into this pattern of living where we go, and then we crash and we burn, right? A lot of times we think in the human world of things, just society has made it that humans are machines, but it's a machine, but it's not. We're humans. We need grace. We need time down. We need who even machines need that time to get fixed, to get tuned up. Even cars go into the shop. And so when we go spiritually, emotionally, physically, without any downtime, our bodies get stressed, our brains get stressed, our hearts get stressed. And then we say things and we make comments when we don't need to, or make choices that maybe aren't the best for us either. So this is going to kind of interlace with boundaries last month. So if you haven't watched those Mermaid Musings, I highly encourage you to check those out after that because they're packed with lots of insight as well. So first off, rest. Where are you putting in rest into your schedule? For me, I don't know about you. I have to put rest into my schedule. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. 10 years ago, AJ could like go buy the cedar for pants, but my life today, if it's not in the calendar, it doesn't really exist. So I put in my sanctuary days, which are 2 days a week for me to be off of social media, Facebook, Instagram, and my phone, so I can reset, check back in. Maybe that doesn't feel good to you. And you're like, no, I like to be more connected. Is there a way that you can weave rest in other places in your calendar? Maybe it's an hour in the evening before bed that you can curl up and you can read your favorite book. Or maybe it's a walk that you have at lunch around your neighborhood. Hey, I'm going to walk my puppy at noon every day, or in the morning, I'm going to get up 30 minutes before everybody else and have some journaling time and then go about my day. But where can you put in this rest? Maybe it's not a big chunk of time. Maybe your schedule won't allow that. But what is it for you? And so throw this in the comments below the video as well, because I'd absolutely love to hear. Also, when you're feeling go, you're feeling that pressure, that's when you need more than ever play and rest. Play is that creativity kind of stretching our muscles. Play is the stretching of our life, allowing us to explore, experiment without the pressure. If we're constantly like, I can have as long as it's for XYZ, I can dance, but it has to be for this thing, or I can read, but only after I've done this. It puts this weighted pressure on anything that we're enjoying. And it's like, you're only having this because you did this other thing because I own you. And that doesn't feel really great. I don't know about you, but sometimes just having that permission to, with no strings attached, and sync it up, right? Cut those strings. And how can you imbue some play? And what is play to you? It might be baking. It might be reading a book. It might be like writing some fun notes to send out to people. It might be playing with the dogs for 10 minutes. Sometimes play and rest. And I'm using these interchangeably too, because neither should have anything attached to them. And sometimes we give ourselves breaks with the like, okay, you get this, but only for 10 minutes, then we got to get right back in. Can we have the awareness of, we have things we need to do after this, but for these 10 minutes, maybe that's setting an alarm for your break, right? So that way you're not constantly checking your watch, but like, hey, in 10 minutes, Beyonce is going to play and it's going to let me know that my time's up and I need to come back and work on this other thing. But that way we can actually take a deep breath and reset. Yeah. Okay. Overwhelm. Here's the other part. When you're feeling overwhelmed, it's kind of like when your body is dehydrated. You get that feeling, it's already too late to be drinking water. You needed to be drinking water 2 hours ago. Drinking water, better late than never, right? We don't need anybody dying of dehydration or overwhelm. And overwhelm just kind of comes up and it smacks you with a bat. Maybe that's not necessarily true. Maybe it like kind of like pokes you, and then it starts getting louder and louder, kind of like our bodies, right? It gets louder and louder until it gets your attention. Overwhelm does the same thing. So if you got a piece of paper, and you can pause this because it's a video, hey, write between 1 and 10 on your paper. And I'll do this with you so I'm not rushing you. Okay. If 10 is absolute, you can't even think straight, you are so stressed, and 1 is easy breezy, everything's good, like on top of the world, hey, like just feeling good. What are the different things you need at the different points to let off some stress, to let off some stream? Because if you're trying to find sanctuary, but your body is so wired, you can't think straight, it's going to be really hard to rest. Does that make sense? You almost need this middle ground of how do we filter off and let off some steam from the overwhelm so we can have that rest, right? Sometimes we got to bring it down. Just like you have a warm up and a cool down after your workout, same thing. So between, you can choose to cut these up however you'd like. Between 1 and 3, ouch. I'm going to say, because even if I'm having a good day, I put breaks in there just because after 90 minutes, our brains need a break, like scientifically proven. It's like it's 60, 60, 10 or 90, 10, like 90 minutes of working and then like a 30-minute break. I will look this up and I'll put it in the Joy Guild. But working for 4 hours straight isn't actually good for your brain. Your work ethic and the amount of clarity that you have in your thoughts actually goes down. So breaks are good. So in 1 through 3, this could look like walking the dogs. I've been listening to Kappa by Laboratory and Piesny. So dance break, music break. Sometimes I'll clean, just like put a few things away. I like doing the 3 things rule. Like you see like 3 things out of place in a room and you put them away and it kind of like, okay, just if I'm in a good mood, I can do that because I hate cleaning. Cleaning 3 things. So what are your couple things? Okay. 4 through 6 I'll do. This is when this may be an accounting day when I'm working on accounting and feeling kind of frustrated. This could also be if I had a disagreement with somebody or somebody sent me a message that was kind of off, and I'm not quite sure how I want to respond yet, or I'm just letting fear take control and I didn't set up my morning right and I'm like feeling overwhelmed already. I'm like, oh, I got to do this stuff. So when you're in that middle ground of, you can kind of feel it ramping up and you're like, I'm okay, it's fine, like it's fine. I always call it the pageant girl smile, like so what is this for you when you're feeling this? What do you need to kind of be like, okay, like let's change gears? For me, this is probably 20 minutes of outside time, if not an hour in the clearing, which is where I'm headed after this. Clearing time. Not that I'm stressed today. Oh, actually, I am a little bit because I had to postpone something that I was really excited about, which is a bummer. But life and COVID life. Okay, so clearing time, 20 minutes time, hot bath. If I'm having a hard day, I will take a bath in the middle of the day. So what are 3 things? Also, just sitting with a hot pack and reading is also really great. So that is on my list. Okay. And then 7 through 8, I kind of chop up these 2 because 7 through 8 is like, I'm this close to losing my mind. Odds are I have messaged somebody and been like, are you willing to hold space for me real quick so I can be like, vent, like, am I being crazy about this? Like, is this crazy? Is this wild? And sometimes they're like, yes, you're being an over dramatic potato. And other times they're like, no, that's really shady and that's not great. And I'm like, okay, I knew it. At this point, I need to put down my work. Like I need an hour. And maybe that's not tenable for you, but maybe something else. But when we're at this level of stress, we got to go do something. So for me, this could look like going on a workout, whether that's a run. This is when I'd pull out Viking music. I mean, I listen to Viking music all the time anyways, but this would be like a hardcore, like, okay. I might take like a hot shower. Sometimes there's something like whole body water. Also sangria. Nothing wrong with a little alcohol sometimes. If I'm not drinking or doing like a sober thing, I have good juice in the fridge, which is non-alcoholic juice. And so I like make myself a little fancy drink with that. Also food. Sometimes I realize I haven't really eaten in a couple hours. So that's also a good thing to check if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and you're like, how do I come back down? Like, what do I do? So those are my things for that. 9 and 10. This is when I had my first rage day this year. And I don't know about you about tapping into your emotions this year, but it's been a lot, right? So you've probably had a 9 or 10 date where you are just at your limit. This is when we treat ourselves like a toddler. Lauren, the church witch, taught me a really great rage ritual. You make sure there's no little children in the house, and you throw on the loudest music you can, and you just yell the F word at the top of your lungs 30 different times. If you can't do this in your house, you hop in your car and you hop on the highway real quick and you do it on the highway. Or as you're driving down the street with your windows rolled up, nobody can hear you and you can play the music. It helps. Anger is a sign that a boundary is being crossed, which we talked about in boundaries. But when we're at 9 or 10 with overwhelm, it's because we crossed a boundary. And when we can look at it that way of just like not, and I'm so overwhelmed and we can't, it's really hard to do it in the moment, right? It's just, I'm so overwhelmed and I don't know, everything's wrong. If your body is estrogen led, you may feel this more highly too when you're about to get your period, when it's like that premenstrual phase. Everybody goes through cycles, but for those who have the hormonal shifts like that, it can really just punch you in the gut. So this is when I put myself to bed. So maybe you need a nap. What is it? You need a nap, Jesus, wine, an orgasm, or food. One of those 5 things. So what is it for you when you are just like, also, this is, if I'm at a 9 or 10, the day is shot. It could be redeemed, but at this point, anything I put out there is going to be tainted with like angry AJ vibes. So nobody likes angry AJ vibes. So put myself to bed. I shut off all my social media. Facebook does no good for me. Maybe your limit is a little higher. If you're like at 6, you're just like, we're done for the day. We're not talking to anybody else. We're going to put our phone on do not disturb. But I got to put myself to bed, take a hot bath. I kind of do like a culmination of everything. Also, whenever you're in overwhelm, you can have this list as a guideline, more like guidelines than actual rules, right? Because when we have them, and you can post this app, like just pew pew with one of those push pins on your list so you can access it easily. Because when they're in our journal, you got to look through it. And in the moment, you're just like, I don't have time for that. But if you can close your eyes when you're feeling the overwhelm, and I know like that's the last thing you want to do, right? Like, why do we want to come back to center? You can also listen to a meditation. Meditation for me would be like a level 3 or 4. If I'm at a level 10, I can't sit still. But closing your eyes just for a minute and asking, what do I need right now? And what do I want to do? And if we can listen to that, we can usually get a good clue on what's going on and what our next step is. Even if it's not going to solve everything, we might have an idea. And if it's a person situation that doesn't have to get resolved today, here are language we can use, right? Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will sleep on it and get back to you tomorrow. This is much better than sending them like a swear word laced chat. If it's somebody in the house, you can be like, hey, babe, or hey, friend, roommate, whatever. I know we want to have this conversation. I need a little time to think about this. I can feel my energies getting really high and I want to be present for this. Let's circle back to this tomorrow. Let's circle back to this in a couple of days. Circle back to this never. No, I'm just kidding. But hopefully that works of giving you some permission that when we're in the moment and we're feeling it, that's not the time to respond. It is most beneficial to respond when we're in a place of sanctuary, when we're in a place of rest. Because if we're not being defensive and walls up, right? Of just so everything's on edge and, oh, that doesn't help anything. And sometimes we have to triage something in this mood, right? But if we can come at it from a place of rest, from a place of sanctuary, we can listen to our nudge, we can listen to our knowing a bit better. And if you need help doing that, listen to the soul tree meditation that's up in meditations, and it helps you just get really grounded and really deep. And I know sometimes that's the last thing we want to do, but sanctuary and rest looks like allowing ourselves to drop into this center and to do the next right thing. And so that's really hard to do when we're way up here. And sometimes society and things, life is happening that can force us to operate up here quite often sometimes, right? And especially this year. This is not a judgment call. This is an invitation to those times that you can take a step back, because otherwise that tension just keeps racking up and you can feel it, right? I don't know what's going on, but my shoulder this month is all over the place. And I'm like, okay, thought I was chill, but maybe not. Our bodies let us know things, our soul lets us know things. So tune in. Where are you at? How can we rank it down so we can have that moment of rest? So let me know what you think. Throw your answers in the comments below this video. I'll post this here on Facebook and in the Mighty Networks page. Keep singing your soul song. Friends, I know it's hard sometimes, but I'm so proud of you as an artisan for finding and seeking ways to bring some joy and wonder into your life. And one of those ways is realizing that we don't have to do it like everybody else. We can do it differently. Proud of you. Keep going, one step at a time. See you soon.